Give me just a taste of love to build my hopes upon. You know you've got the power, boy, to keep me holding on. Now you've got the best of me, come on, take the rest of me, oh baby. So now you've got the best of me, come on and take the rest of me, oh baby. I didn't know today would be our last, or that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah.
It gives us such pleasure to see so many amazing people here and to welcome you to the celebration of our precious Dee's life. When reflecting on Dee Dog's beautiful life, it is easy to remember her wicked sense of humor and vivaciousness, which did not fade even towards the end. Nan wore her heart on her sleeve and said it how it is. She did not hesitate to give the nurses at the hospital a couple of weeks ago some pointers on their vacation and make quite a reputation for herself amongst the staff. We will use Mum's vivacious energy and humor to get us through the tough times ahead and to celebrate her life today. A force to be reckoned with is a phrase that so many of you have used to describe my mum on this journey, and I agree that it perfectly encompasses her. If this cancer gave her the smallest fighting chance, there's no doubt that she'd be ready to catch another flight on her next great adventure as we speak. We often joked with Mum about her addiction to travel, but oh how fortunate she was. She was determined to take in and experience all the joys this world has to offer. Why, how, and what the F are things that we have said in abundance over the past 7 weeks. but at the same time, how lucky are we has been said far more. How lucky are we to have D-Dog as our mum? How lucky are we to have those special moments to express our gratitude, mend our dramas, and say our goodbyes. I often describe the time as brutal but beautiful. How lucky are we to be surrounded by all of you and have your incredible support from the beginning and throughout this journey. Mum was and truly is loved. We may not know for sure where Mum is now, but I don't doubt that there are gardens as beautiful as this one, with hydrangeas and sweet peas to grow, whiskey and water on tap, and bucket list destinations to visit. Thank you all for being here today, and special thanks to the Harris family for opening up your beautiful home. Mum worked so hard on these gardens, and she'd love to see us all here admiring it. I'll now hand over to Lauren to speak about Mum's life.
Dee was born in Choma, Northern Rhodesia, on the 16th of January 1960 to parents Margot and David Duchemin. Sadly, Mum's father left them at a young age, and she was raised in Bulawayo by her mother Margot, with her two sisters, Caroline and Christine. Margot gave her girls the best childhood possible. Raising three daughters as a single mother was no easy task, and I don't doubt Mum gave Granny-O a bit more strife than the others. But Gran did an amazing job, and we owe so many thanks to her for the ambitious, resilient, and fierce Dee we had the privilege of knowing and loving. Mum suffered a few great tragedies in her life, but the greatest of all was the loss of her sister Caroline. Caroline's passing left Mum devastated, with a huge gap in her heart. I have an element of peace knowing that Mum and Caroline have returned to one another and are catching up on the many missed years and memories. Mum had three half-siblings, Christopher, Michelle, and Mark, and although she did not grow up with them, Mum was fortunate enough to develop strong relationships with all three of her half-siblings in her later years of life. She spent her teenage years at Evelyn Girls High, and her 20s between her job in Pamazinda and the Flying Alligator, her digs in Bulawayo. Wow, Mum was naughty. She has albums and albums of photos of these years, and I always loved sitting, going through these pictures with her, listening to the countless stories of the mischievous times they had. There were a few cars crashed, many pranks played, and many, many benders had. They truly were the days of her life. In the early 90s, at the age of 31, Deidre was spotted by Andrew, standing on a crate with a beer in hand, singing the animal alphabet to a crowd of drunkards at a house party in Bulawayo. Not much changed in the sense of Dee dancing on tables and doing what she could to be the life of the party, but she did grow up enough to successfully produce, raise, and nurture three children, Andrea, myself, and Strathern. Mum was a fantastic mother, albeit bloody frightening. She was at every school play or sporting event, whether it was in Tunisia at Andrea's triathlons, South Africa at Strathern's cycling races, or Lomagandi College at my D-team hockey matches. She was always in the front row, making sure we were kitted out, fed and watered, and cheered on. A little bit about Dee's three kids. Andrea, our star triathlete. Mum and Ange travelled the world together with Andrea's triathlon, from the Olympics in Singapore to world champs in Australia to training camps in Nyanga. Mum was Andrea's #1 dedicated and devoted supporter, and was truly devastated the day Andrea decided to hang up her bike. In all honesty, I still think she was more devastated in the fact that she thought the trips around the world were coming to an end. Mum was so proud of Andrea's achievements, so much so that to this day, the many photo collages, framed newspaper article titled "Triathlon Princess Ready for Olympics," and copious amounts of medals are still hanging proudly in Mum's home. Mum was lucky enough to gain a second son through Andrea in her husband Riley. We all know that Riley probably wasn't Mum's first choice for Ange, but she grew to adore him. And they developed the most amazing bond I have ever witnessed between a mum and son-in-law. Dee's divorce was not an easy time for her, but Riley certainly stepped up to the challenge and supported Mum through every one of her struggles. Ange and Riley, Mum is so proud of the two of you and the life you have built for yourselves in Vic Falls. She took such pride in helping you with the revamp of your newest boat and was privileged to be a part of it. I was probably Mum's most challenging endeavour. On an almost monthly basis, Mum would discover my latest stash of booze, hubbly, cigarettes, and in more recent years, vapes. The most overused sentence in Mum's vocabulary when it came to me was, "Where did I go wrong?" But I think it was the fact that I was so similar to her that frightened her the most. Mum and I had an extremely close and special relationship. We drove each other absolutely nuts, but loved one another to the absolute core. I am the person I am today because of my mum. It always used to irritate me, but now I get the most tremendous amount of satisfaction when someone looks at me and remarks, "You are your mother's daughter." And lastly, Strathern. Jeepers, Strath, you have made Mum proud. You did not have it easy, boy, but you grabbed it by the horns, and I am in awe of what you have done with your life. Mum just beamed when she spoke about you. You quite literally lit up her world, and although she didn't have the right words to express it to you, she absolutely adored you. There was a running joke in our family that Strathern was Mum's favourite, a joke that Mum had absolutely no issue going along with. The connection between Mum and Strath was indestructible. I, like Mum, have absolutely loved watching you grow into the man you are today, Strath, and I can't wait to see where this life takes you. The last 5 years of Mum's life were tricky. One of the hardest things Mum and I endured during this time was packing up 7 Boscobel, the place that housed our little family for almost 30 years. It was the most beautiful safe haven created by our clever Mum. Everything from the interior to the garden was impeccable. We were devastated to leave the only place we ever knew as home, but soon realized home wasn't just a place, but home was wherever our Mum was. Since our house in Boscobel, Mum has completely rebuilt the most outstanding house in Dandaro. It is truly remarkable what Mum created, and I am always overjoyed at people's reactions when they walk into her home. Mum's impressive talent also shone through in the outstanding design and decor of Ilala Lodge Hotel. Ilala was Mum's pride and joy, and anyone who has ever been there would agree it certainly was something to be proud of. In amongst the recent challenging years of Mum's life, there was great joy. She visited just about every country in the world and was so lucky to see many beautiful places and make such fond memories. Many of these trips was with at least one of us children, which we will cherish forever. Mum also made some unbelievable new friendships and rekindled friendships with many people from the past. Standing here today, it is truly unbelievable to see the amount of friendships that Dee had fostered over the years, and I am so grateful to each and every one of you for the love and support you have shown my mum, my siblings and I throughout this journey and in all times of our lives. Us kids are so lucky we have such a strong community to scaffold us through the times to come. Mum was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer on the 1st of June and was not given a fighting chance. But she was so unbelievably strong every step of the way and did not for 1 second lose her cheeky, somewhat inappropriate sense of humour. No one ever wants to watch their mother suffer, but I will be forever grateful for those 7 weeks of quality time we had with Mum. We got deeper and stronger than anyone would ever dream of getting as a family. The motto that got us through those last 7 weeks was, "If you don't laugh, you cry." And with that, we cried a million cries, but we also laughed a million laughs. Mum's fight was short, but it was so unbelievably rough, and us 3 children take so much comfort in knowing that you are now peaceful, Mum. You are now with our darling Shants and many, many other special people up there, sitting, having a staunch whiskey, and forever keeping a watchful eye on the rest of us down here. I am not entirely sure how one gets over something like this, but I was sent a quote the other day that read, "You let time pass, that is the cure. You survive the days. You float like a rabid ghost through the weeks. You cry and wallow and lament and scratch your way back up through the months. And then one day you find yourself alone on the bench in the sun, and you close your eyes and you lean your head back and realize you are okay. But for now, sleep well, man dog."
Ange, Lauren, Strath, Riley, Margot, family and friends. I know that all of you here today and watching from afar have your own memories of Dee and have shared some special times and adventures with her over the years. In putting my thoughts into writing, I realize how much she was an integral part of all our lives. I am very privileged to be able to share my own personal memories and honor the person she was. Thank you, Deirdre, for making me put my big girl pants on. I met Dee over 30 years ago, and so began a long friendship. She was Andrew's date to my sister Debbie's wedding to Rob. She had braved the Samabula flats, crossed the Shangani to Mashonaland, so I will not allude to any of her misspent youth in Bulawayo, and was at the time manager of Pamazinda and Sulu. Rob and Deb spent their honeymoon night there. The suite had been made ready by Dee, a polished silver tray with a decanter and sherry glasses, a bunch of grapes, Deb said were sour as, a welcome card and a box of 100 individually wrapped condoms. Deb said she kicked off her uncomfortable shoes, necked the sherry, then set to work hiding the condoms in the room. Rob, having flossed his teeth, and wearing the complimentary toweling bathrobe and rolling his eyes, joined the mission. And they were all hidden between the lining of curtains, rolled up in the mozzie net, down the sides of chairs, on top of the fan blades, well, really every nook and cranny. The empty box was put back on the coffee table. Rob and Debs left knowing that Dee would be returning to duty Sunday morning and would very likely, post-haste, want to retrieve the box before the cleaners came in. There was an SOS call to the farm at about noon, admitting the plant and wondering if 80-plus condoms were in their possession. They were not, of course, and the sweat began to locate them. Dee admitted to still finding packets weeks after. Dee was feisty, the children say bossy. Fun-loving, ferociously loyal, brave, strong, funny, direct and sometimes irreverent. Generous, kind, loving, fiercely protective and supportive of her beautiful children, family and her friends children who she so loved. She never did things by half and always jumped in with 2 feet. She loved travel, adventure, her home, her garden, flowers and gardening. She lived her life to the full, right until the end. Dee loved entertaining and dress-ups. I recall Mexican and Roman toga-themed parties that set the scene for much hilarity. One particular gathering was later referred to as the multi-choice party. It included Fight Club, Super Sport, I think we watched a World Cup final of some sort, and Fear Factor, eating slivers of the spit-roasted pig snout. If it wasn't a themed party, there was a dress-up box and a box of hats. Dee also eventually kept a cater roll of cling film in her pantry. Sonia will remember exactly why. More recently, she had just moved into her new home in Dandaro and hosted a brunch for Paula's birthday. Sometime mid-afternoon, the Prosecco was finished. Ange reminded me it was 3 cases. and we had to get a resupply delivered by Bronwyn. At one point, we could be seen doing roly-polies and head over heels on the lawn. Welcome to Dandara, Dee, and apologies to the neighbours. Dee quickly became part of the Dandara community, and I know she will be sadly missed by all who knew her there. Dee loved a party, to dance and sing to vinyls. I think she was one of the last to leave my 60th in January, and also Kate's in May. Her dance routine to Ippy and Tombi was legendary. Dee had a wicked sense of humour and the ability to make one laugh at oneself. As one friend so succinctly put it, I would laugh till I cried or peed my pants. She and I shared a fascination with train journeys, and in 2020, when we were in lockdown and could not travel outside our borders, but could tourist at home, she discovered we could go on the safari train from Bulawayo to Vic Falls, spending 2 nights at the siding in Det and 2 days driving around Wangi. We got some friends together, and so began the Girls on the Train adventure. We started off having lunch and a tour of the Bulawayo Club. Most of you will know that it contains a lot of old colonial history, including portraits of Lobengula and Cecil John Rhodes. After lunch, we were in the upstairs bar, and Dee looked across to where I was sitting in a large leather chair and said, "Oh, look, there's Queen Lobes." The name, I'm afraid, has stuck, and Queen Lobes is often offered the front seat or a comfy chair instead of a bar stool or bench. Much the same time, when we still couldn't travel across the border, we embarked on a girls' trip to Kavinga. It was early November and absolutely boiling hot in the valley. We took off with much anticipation of seeing all the game the reserve has to offer that time of the year. Ran into trouble with a cruiser tyre we couldn't change because there was no wheel lock. Needed an angle grinder to get it off, and in the process along the way I burnt myself. It had bucketed with rain. Just a couple of days before we arrived, we saw the river coming up in flood, which was incredible, but the animals had all bombshelled into the newly wet bush. With blistered boob, we spent 3 days looking at birds, bugs, frogs and snakes. Visited by a baby squirrel and watching the white-tailed mongoose pup catch scorpions in the dining area at night. We never stopped laughing, drinking copious G&Ts, or whinging about how bloody hot it was. When we saw the minute fans in the room, I commented loudly, "What the that?" Dee got such a fright she thought I'd seen a snake. One of the things I think of most is how much we always laughed. She and I went to London in the early 90s. I think Lauren and Dave were about 2, and we decided we needed a break, so off we set. As one does on a trip, we had a kitty for our entertainment expenses. One night we stopped at the Bureau de Change to top up the kitty. Dee commented that it was a bloody thirsty puss. Ever since, we have fed the puss on our travels. Having been in central London for a week, we needed to do our laundry, so went and spent a couple of nights at my brother's flat. He was a bachelor then and was away. We had to use fairy dishwashing liquid in the washing machine. What a mess. There are many of you here who will remember trips, travels, bridge, dominoes, book club, supper club, cooking club. By her own admission, she was a useless cook and always wondered how her children didn't starve. Her scones were rock buns, and on one particular supper club, her chickpea curry exploded in the microwave. She wasn't that bad, actually, but still. There was always humour and plenty of wine. And of course there was garden club and Saturday walking club. Avalon recalls the last party in her pub with a bunch of girls, who I won't name, but you know who you are. On a Friday night, things went a bit pear-shaped. Tops were discarded and bras thrown into the rafters. She was hosting walking from her house the next morning. Needless to say, she didn't make the walk, but they all went and had bacon and egg rolls and opened more Prosecco. Dee always surrounded herself with friends, but was not afraid to be alone and do things on her own. My last trip with Dee was in March. She was part of a group of dear friends who took me to Cape Town for my birthday. It was a very special time with special friends, and I will treasure those memories too. I'd like to end with this passage from The Little Prince. I know if Dee could, this is what she would say to us all. In one of those stars I shall be living. In one of them I shall be laughing when you look at the sky at night. And when your sorrow is comforted, you will be content that you have known me. You will always be my friend. I shall not leave you. We are all better for knowing you. Till we meet again. Love you, Dee. Rest in peace.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, and I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can't stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
The reading today is taken from the books of Psalms, John, Romans, and Revelation. God is our refuge and strength, our ever-present help in times of trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, even though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the sea, Though its waters roar and the mountains quake with their surging, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Nothing can separate us from God's love, neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither our fears for today, nor our worries about tomorrow, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God. For Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, but believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, so that you also may live where I am. I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away."
What a beautiful way to appreciate and remember our Nan dog. Thank you, Colleen, Jenny, and Lauren. Thank you again for all being here. And a special thanks to Rydog. Riley has been there for Mum and us kids for all these years and been an absolute trooper, putting up with his wife Andrea and even trying to fulfill Lauren's endless requests. Yours and Dee's relationship was so special and meant so much to her. You always knew how to ignite her contagious laughter and had no reluctance when telling her to pipe down. I'd like to conclude by thanking Mum. Thank you for my beautiful sisters. We will support each other in the same way that you supported us. Thank you for raising me to be the man I am today. You've encouraged me to be true to myself, look after myself, and care for others. It was a tough gig being your favorite son, yet somehow you're always proud of me. I am proud of you too. You once wrote, "Son, I closed my eyes for but a moment, and a man stood where a boy once was. I may not carry you now in my arms, but I will forever carry you in my heart. And while you may no longer be standing in front of us, we will always carry you in our heart." It is now the final boarding call for your next great adventure. In true Dee fashion, to finish off, she would like us to cry and laugh together to Spirit in the Sky.
When I die and the Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. Secret chord David played, and he pleads the Lord. You don't really care for music, goes like forward, a major left, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Was a time that you needed proof, so bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew was a time that you let me know it's real and never show that to me, do ya? It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not somebody who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken God above. All I ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. Remember when I moved in you, the holy dog was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah. Thank you. There's a light, a certain kind of light that never shone on me, and I want my life to be lived with you, lived with you. There's a way, everybody say, to do each and everything. But what good can it bring if I ain't got you? If I ain't got you, baby, you don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like to love somebody, to love somebody the way I love you. In my brain, I see your face again, and I know your frame of mind. You ain't got to be so blind, but I'm blind, so blind. I'm a man. Can't you see that I am? And I live and I bleed for you. But what somebody the way I love you.
Even though my love is so demanding, every time
From your lofty post.
Well, I'm so sorry. Mom was a big support to me when I went to that school. She really was. With all the politics and everything that was going.
Can I change my clothes?
I was very good.
Yeah?
Ja, ik stel even voor.